Hey, I'm back. This is Chat with Matt, Mark 2. After all of that, I got to the end and I realised I didn't answer a question that Judith wrote in the announcement I put up, where I ask if anyone's got any questions, please feel free to write it in so I can deal with it on the call. I got to the end and I was sort of into another call and I realised I hadn't got to answer Judith's question, which is how to deal with a major loss, e.g. death, etc. So I thought I would jump on and attempt to answer this reasonably succinctly, e.g. not spending a lot of time answering it, but it is a really big question. So and there's lots of different ways and lots of different tactics and techniques and points of view around how we grieve, the process of grieving. But ultimately, what's most important, in my opinion, in moving forward through the process of grieving is to do so compassionately. Hey, Sister Rita, to do things compassionately, to have patience, to have allowance for yourself, right? Everyone is going to process major losses in different ways. It depends on your history, depends on the relationship you had with the thing that you've lost, whether that's a person or whether it's a position or whether it's an object. It doesn't really matter. If you've lost something, there is a feeling that you have lost something that was providing you with a sense of something that benefited you, whether that be security, whether that be happiness, whether that be love, whether that be connection. There's a sense that something is now missing that you once highly regarded, honored, treasured in your life. From a personality perspective, when we suffer a loss, when we experience a loss, whether we suffer from it or not, when we experience a loss, there is always going to be a time of adjustment that needs to take place where we basically come to terms with the fact that something that we once relied on to give us a sense of something, happiness or security or whatever purpose, is now gone. It takes time for us to adjust. It takes time for us to build new habits and new ways of progressing in life without that said thing, that external thing, that relationship or that object or whatever it is. The more that you can stay relaxed and the more that you can keep reminding yourself that you are on a process of evolution and loss is just a natural part of that evolution. We all experience losses of some sort every day, basically. The process of evolution is necessarily one of letting go and redefining. To establish a new relationship with ourselves, let go of the old relationship with ourselves. To embrace deeper relationships with people, we need to let go of old relationships with people that don't serve us so well, that are somehow caught up in an entanglement of some description, in a non-beneficial engagement or energy or ideology or perception. Perceptions are continually changing. Perceptions are continually falling away and being rebuilt. The process of evolution, if you walk through a forest, an old growth forest that's in a process of, evolution, there is this relationship between death and decay and new life, and it's all part of it. Big trees fall to make way for new trees. As they fall, some trees are squashed, some plants are killed in the falling of a big tree, but then there's other things that grow out from it. There's all sorts of life forms that take advantage of all occurrences. No occurrence is bad or wrong per se. Much of it we mourn, much of it changes the landscape and is unsettling for us as an ego that loves the idea of stability and security in what we have, and we develop relationships with what is, always from this mentality that we're enjoying it, so there's no need for it to change, and yet change will continue to happen. We can't stop change. And so dealing with the process of loss and grief is one of being an allowance that it is never going to be comfortable, and that it is not wrong at the same time. It's not wrong that it's uncomfortable, and it's not wrong that it's happened. It's to make space to allow, hey Sister Kazri, it's to make space for the allowance of this unfoldment to occur, and it's to be okay with the fact that you may be grieving, and you may be grieving quite hard. Don't make any of that wrong. Don't choose not to fall into expectations of how you should grieve or how you should cope, or you know, what other people are telling you. Be willing to go through a process that serves you. Be willing to inquire into each stage of the process for yourself, and be willing to always look for the benefit in the experience. You know, it's not about painting, you know, everything with sugar and looking through rose-colored glasses. If something has left your life that you once enjoyed a lot, then there is a reason that there's going to be some grief around that. And it's not a matter of saying, oh, well, you know, but at the same time, be willing to make space for things to keep evolving, and don't allow yourself to get stuck in the grieving process. The more that you can relax, the better off you're going to be. So always, Judith and anyone else, everyone else who's experiencing loss of some sort, whether it's, you know, the perceived loss of what's happening in our external world as a society, or whether it's a very personal loss to you, the more that you can invest time in doing practices that help you relax into acceptance, the better off you're going to be. And understand that the better off you're going to be is not necessarily always comfortable right from the get-go. It's not that you're supposed to be able to get over this and not be feeling pain. Feeling pain is not a wrongness, it's part of the process. So be willing to experience the pain. Choose not to make it too much like suffering, that's just a matter of being an allowance of pain and maintaining space for pain without making it wrong, right? The suffering only comes when we make things wrong. So the grieving process is not a wrong process. It's a very, very beneficial process. It's a process that opens us up to deeper and deeper relationship with ourself and with God and with Source and with all things for that matter. When we really notice the loss of something, it helps us appreciate what we still have. And so it's all part of it. Hopefully this is helping. I was intending to keep this short, so maybe I will wind it up here. It is an adjunct to chat with Matt. The bit that I missed, the bit that I neglected, and I will label it appropriately, and hopefully people will find this and add it on. Okay, my friends, much love. As always, I'm here to serve you. Reach out if you think I can do that in a more personal way or a more effective way or whatever. I'm here to serve. Much love. Bye for now. Namaste.